Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chanel Davy. This is my little girl Rosa. She was awake the first time I tried to take this video, but she seems to have fallen asleep, and if I put her down, she's gonna wake up, so she's joining me. Today I'm gonna talk about my big move from Saskatchewan to BC. It was a fun one because I was 8 months pregnant when I started the move. So it started off with me moving from my tiny apartment with my husband to my parents' house, which was kind of easier because then I'd have help throughout the rest of the pregnancy. But that was a lot of packing and stuff to do, as you can imagine. And then from the house, my parents' house, we moved here. So the way it went is we were packing like crazy for about 2 months. And then they left about a week before I did because I was going to take a plane and they were driving for 4 days. So when they finally got to BC and moved in and got everything in, I took a plane because one of my family members bought me a plane ticket. She was free because she was going to be on my lap. And I was very thankful because I had stitches and I was afraid of traveling for 4 days in a car with a newborn. It was a very scary thought because she would have been a little under 2 weeks old. Instead, we took a plane a little bit over 2 weeks old. Also very panic inducing, but it worked thankfully. So they left and I went to go live at my auntie and uncle's house. Now, the big thing was that there was a few things I'd have to bring with me for her and for me for this week that I was going to be here. It was a little bit over a week, actually. Now, my problem was, how was I going to get enough things where I could survive for a week and a half with me and my girl, but also have little enough things that when I go on the plane, I'm not struggling with 4, 5, 6 bags of stuff. I wouldn't get a carry-on or anything because I really didn't want to get a carry-on at the time. We were spending enough money just moving. So it started off with, I had 2 bags packed in her car seat and I was like, yeah. And then I realized that I didn't get half of her things that she actually needs, so I ended up packing 3 decent sized bags of stuff for her, and then her car seat as well, because we still had doctor appointments to go to in the city. So after they left and I was at my auntie and uncle's house, it was a really great time. They have a 2-year-old and he just loves staring at Rosa and playing with Rosa, so it was really nice. And they helped me out a lot of things, and it was just really nice to be around them and kind of take a break and calm down from the madness that was my life for 2 months. So then after that, 7 a.m. I went to the Saskatchewan airport where we started the journey. Now this journey was the scariest thing I've ever done in my entire life, and I gave birth to a child. It was the best and worst thing I think that has ever happened to me, like emotionally, mentally, and physically. It started off with me going to this airport 7 a.m. I had the car seat and 3 bags. I tried to make it less, but it wasn't gonna work. Thankfully, the airports actually wrap up your car seat and take them onto the plane, because I was worried about that the entire time. Was I gonna have to pay for them to check it or carry it or something? I didn't know, because their website doesn't quite give you those details. They just say car seat, yes. Like you just kind of check a box and they go, oh yeah, cool. I tried calling and I was on hold for about 2-3 hours, and I was very impatient, so I hung up. So I didn't quite find out what I needed to find out. I was just too impatient. I said I'll just pay for it if I have to. So they wrapped up the car seats, took it onto the plane, and then I had Rosa and these 3 bags. I remember going upstairs in the airport after getting everything checked and just panicking because I couldn't find the gate and I was super tired already, and those bags were not light because there were clothes and breast pumps and bottles and just everything that she was going to need for that week that I was by myself for, plus the things I need for the plane and things she needs for the plane. So after all of this, now we reach the gate finally, except for right before I reached the gate, I sat down because I remember getting so tired and so fatigued. I sat down on this chair with these 3 bags. Should have taken them off, but I didn't. So when I tried to get up, I flopped backwards and I smacked my back against the ground with the 3 bags. And I remember just kind of falling like this, going, okay, here we go. Smacked my back against the ground. I was just really scared for her. And I remember this attendee walks by from the airport, and she goes, did you do that on purpose or do you need help? So I start getting up. I'm like, yeah, I need help. And she just kind of stood there and stared at me. So I got up slowly by myself and she was still staring at me. I'm like, I don't know how you still have a job. Because I'm obviously very fresh newborn, because she was like that small and wrapped up on me and everything, and she just didn't care to help me up after she asked if I needed help. But it was fine. I got up, I walked away, brushed it off. Who cares, right? So I went to the gate, we sat down, waited, got on the plane. Thankfully, I was next to this sweet old lady, because I was panicking that she was gonna cry and it was gonna be this whole thing that people might get mad at me or anything. Just a lot of anxiety about flying on a plane by myself, because I hadn't flown on a plane for like 13 years. I think the last time was when I was 10 or 11 to Toronto, which is a 2-hour flight. This was a full day flight. But this older lady was super sweet and super kind. She was talking about her grandkids, and she was going to a wine convention for a holiday to escape the cold. And I said, "Take me with you." She was just really sweet. And she slept through the first flight like it was nothing. I was so happy. You have no idea. So then we got to the second airport, and I got her some food and kind of chill and change a diaper. And I was really worried about the food aspect, because normally I pump for her, because at that time she wasn't breastfeeding. She would not latch for the life of her. So I pumped before I got there, before I got to the first airport, and I was hoping that would be enough to get her maybe halfway through the day. And I also had formula backed up just in case there wasn't enough milk. So I fed her at the second airport, which is the Calgary airport. And we kind of waited around, and then I realized I had to change her, and it was a whole thing because the line to the bathroom was 45 minutes long, and my plane was gonna leave in about 30 minutes, so it was a whole thing. Thankfully, ladies are really sweet there to let me go past and get first and change her and go. Once I explained that my plane was gonna leave soon and I have this baby, and they saw the bags, were like, just go, go. And I was like, thank God, right? That people are really sweet sometimes. I got onto the plane, and the next plane was slightly smaller than the first. It was bigger than the first one. It was one of those 3-seaters, the 3 on each side. Oh, it was so nice with the TV on the screen. I wish I was a plane and a half for the longest amount of time, because I was there playing Bejeweled on the screen. I played Bejeweled with a daughter in my hands. That was a mouse up in the air. It was really fun. And then the plane landed and everything was fine. She didn't wake up. She slept straight through it again. I was so relieved. And then we got to the third airport, which is the Vancouver airport, and we were chilling. This one was the longest wait because my plane was actually delayed by an hour, which was the same for every plane there. All the planes were delayed, so as you can imagine, there was a huge backup, and there was thousands of people, and this is the Calgary airport, so it was huge. No, that happened at the Vancouver airport. The Calgary airport was also huge, but it wasn't as backed up. We got onto the second plane, yeah, landed at the third airplane, which was the Vancouver. What am I talking about? I'm so sorry. But when we got to the Vancouver airport, everything was backed up. I remember sitting down next to these 2 ladies. They just turned grandmas as well, and they were just turned grandmas, sorry, and they were really happy and kind of staring at her, and we had really deep, good conversations. You know, perfect strangers, but it was really nice to talk to somebody with a lot of experience on baby wearing and all these things. They helped me with my bags up onto the loading station and everything, because their planes left about 10 minutes after mine. So I got into my plane, and this plane scared the living heebie-jeebies out of me. I mean, this plane is smaller than Rosa. The plane seated 20 people, and all 20 seats were filled. It was so tiny. I remember sitting there going, oh, this is the day that I die, because the plane was so small. And when it took off, it didn't show me any confidence that we were going to make it. And I have a lot of anxiety and depression and things like that. So I was sitting there going, okay, this is the end of everything. So we took off, we flew for a while, and my head kind of felt weird. You know, the whole pressure change thing? Yeah, my head was foggy and everything, but Rosa did wake up for food halfway through the flight, which is fine. I fed her formula, and then on our descent, my head started to hurt really bad. I felt like someone was either jackhammering it or like it was about to explode. Both of them at the same time, actually. It was almost worse than the contractions I was having with her. So I remember, yeah, we went up, we started to go down. As we were landing, I was talking to the guys in front of me. There's two gentlemen, and they both have 3 and 4 year olds. And they're just talking about their son and their daughter, going, oh man, they're so terrible sometimes. They're like little terrorists sometimes, because they destroy everything, they break down everything, and here's the worst part, you have to love them. And I'm like going, yeesh. I looked at her and they looked back at me and go, oh, yeah, you signed yourself up for a lot of work. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And, I mean, I have siblings, so I understand, because they're 10 and 5, and they're pretty bad too, but they're also really sweet. So I was kind of like, it'll be fine, I've done this before. And then they're going, oh man, this place is so rainy. The place where I'm moving to, it's so rainy and so terrible. Every time I come here, it's always wet and gross and damp. And I was kind of laughing, because I was like, yeah, I'm moving here. They're like, oh, we're 2 for 2. you're in for a lot, aren't you? And I just remember laughing at them and being like, whatever. It was a fun experience. So after we got here, we got onto this bus, and the bus took us to a ferry, and that's when I first saw just how beautiful this place is. Although yes, it is extremely rainy here, I actually don't like the rain, and it's really pretty. So it started off with it wasn't raining at first, and we were going through this little island which leads to the bigger island, and now there's people here. My sibling is here. Anyway, so that's the ferry, and the ferry took us here. And this is the house that I am staying in. My parents and my husband, my daughter, and my 2 siblings. Oh, and my auntie. Whole family moved out. So when we reached here, we were really excited, because it's just so pretty and so nice. And I absolutely love it here. So as much as the plane ride was terrible, and the back pain, and but the bags gave me, which is still there, because I did damage my back that day, and as much as everything was stressing me out, it's okay, because this place is so beautiful, it's worth it. Okay, see you guys later, bye.